as leaders, individuals are finding it increasingly difficult to focus on the medium to longer term because the environment is forcing us to look down at the short term. And somehow there's no urgency about the future. We tend to postpone the conversations and the thinking and the research around the world 7 to 10 years out because it's just beyond the reporting time framework of the world. And so we see that this really critical need to understand the future at least as well as we understand the present is dissipated. But true leaders understand that the future doesn't stop, it doesn't phone you and warn you that it's arriving, it's just busy happening. And real leaders actually understand the critical strategic urgency of investing time in understanding what's shaping that future, where the opportunities and what steps they need to take to sort of both capitalize on the here and now, because that's really critical, obviously. Without that, you don't have a future. But also to hold that future in their mind strategically and say, I need to really make it urgent. So the imperative for leaders of an organization are obviously to operate the present successfully. I mean, that's what leadership is all about. But leaders appoint management and assistants and teams and hierarchies and executives who wish that the CEO and the chairman and other senior leaders would get out of their hair and allow them to operate the present with proper delegated authority. But somehow leaders immerse themselves in the daily machinations and operational challenges of the here and now and don't spend enough time contemplating, thinking about, and creating the future. If I left it at that and said to all the critical stakeholders of any organization, what do you think you want your leadership to be doing? Must they be operating the present? Or do you want them to be creating and ensuring that you have a relevant, exciting, flourishing future potential? And all the stakeholders, whether they're staff, whether they're customers, whether they are shareholders, whether they're investors, all of them would say, wow, the top leadership has to be responsible for creating our future. I used to talk about long-term as being 10 years out. And already that's it's almost too far because things are changing so profoundly, so quickly. So the amplitude and frequency of change is even redefining what long-term is. In some industries, long-term is 6 months. In some countries, long-term is 1 month. But typically, it's in that time frame just beyond the horizon where a leader is confident that he or she has all the answers. I found it's kind of in that 5, 7, 8, 9 year time frame. That's a space where leadership really needs to be understanding, engaging, thinking, and talking about. I think in the quest to understand the future at least as well as you understand the present and certainly the past, one has to get a grip on what are the key forces that are shaping that future. So what are the big events out there that are combining to create a future reality? And then how do we understand the interrelationship between these forces and what landscapes that could result in? And the big challenge is, how do we see beyond the obvious? I mean, the obvious is the obvious, and of course we can all rationalize and intellectualize that. So it becomes really crucial, I think, for true leaders to understand these forces that combine to create different options and outcomes, and then to see beyond the obvious step change, and to explore beyond the obvious. In my view, there's two schools of activity, or two areas of activity, if you like. The firstly is radically optimizing your current operations. So how do you renovate, improve, and innovate around your existing business? And do that radically. Really look for areas of profound difference and success in the short term. But understand very clearly that will give you, at best, your business of today on a stable platform. Crucially important, absolutely vital. And as a small, medium enterprise, you are uniquely positioned because what the world is punishing is the great, big, massive multinationals. They're slow super tankers, sluggish to adapt and change, overburdened by internal regulatory hierarchies and frameworks and rules and operating slowness in a world where the pace and tempo is increasing all the time. So as an SME, you're brilliantly positioned to capitalize on new opportunities much faster than anyone else. Step 1, fix, enhance, and optimize your current business. And then spend time understanding what would you choose to be in a different world, in tomorrow's world. And you can make those choices. And there are bigger opportunities in the future than there ever are today. So it's really an exciting place.